Hey DTMB, this is Ownin. I'm new to the channel. I'm going to be providing you guys with more content just like Lois, Indian Guy, Squid, and everybody else that'll probably be on this channel, which I don't know who, but for the most part, my content's going to consist of probably commentaries, which will be very informative and, mostly walk you through my thought process, what I was thinking of doing at the time possibly, maybe some information on how to play the map I'm playing on or what I'm doing and stuff like that. I also have other plans for content, but that hasn't been set in stone yet. Mostly what I was thinking of doing. Well, before I get into that, actually, let me talk a little bit more about myself. I started playing Uncharted 2 back in December of 2009. I had gotten a PS3 before Christmas, and I asked for Uncharted 2 for Christmas, and I got it for Christmas, and I've been a huge fan of it ever since then. I've been playing the multiplayer since then, and I, at the end of tail end of Uncharted 2, I was a level 62, I guess. I didn't care about getting to level 80. Levels don't matter. And I was actually a pretty good player, I guess. I mean, by the tail end of Uncharted 2, though, the game was kind of sort of ruined, so, in my eyes. So I wouldn't really say that I was really good at it, because it's totally different from how what I started out with. But moving away from that, once Uncharted 3 came out, it's been sort of a love-hate relationship with it, because they had completely changed how it was since the summer beta, and leading up to that, it was just hopeful and like, yes, please be what it was in the summer beta, and it wasn't. So then once that came along, then once they started changing things and making things better, it became a little bit better game. Then once I found out that the health model isn't what I thought it was, that sort of made me depressed and disappointed, and it makes a lot of things in this game really imbalanced in a way, and it's kind of sad that that's the way it is, but it is. They're not changing it. There's a ton of people that would want it changed, and it would make the game so much better. There's just so many things about it that the game would just, it would just be great if it worked that way, but it doesn't. So we have to deal with what we're given, besides, what they're going to be changing, that they're willing to change, such as weapon damage in that, like, nerfing things, like the FAL. Like, the FAL's weapon damage was nerfed. But, so then about 2 months ago, I was like, well, hey, I'm a pretty good player. I can, share some of my knowledge a little bit and talk about certain things. And so then I started doing commentaries, which mostly consisted of me just playing the game, and then, I would then take the cinema file and record it using the in-game's recording equipment, or, stuff that it comes with or whatever. I didn't use a capture device or anything, which I do have one, but I just don't use it because it's not a POG. It's a standard def sort of capture device. But moving back to what I was talking about, like, I started commentaries, and it was mostly just a way of me, like, sort of supporting the community in a way, because, like, I wanted to share some of the things that I know, all the while showing some gameplay in the background and explaining things, and basically giving my thoughts on certain subjects and stuff like that. So I haven't gotten very many views on my own channel, and I posted them a few times on Nautilog forums, and I don't know how many of you guys have seen them, but there's quite a few of them on my channel already that you can check out, and if you go to my channel in the description. I do not plan on uploading those to this channel or anything like that, but you can check out those on there if you want, and hopefully you might learn something from those. But for this one in particular, I'm just going to be talking about what I plan to bring to DTMB. So now that you have a little bit of a background on me as who I am, a little bit, where I came from in the Uncharted community and stuff, let me talk a little bit about the content I plan to bring. So I plan to bring commentaries, just like this one, except maybe we'll talk about a certain subject, or maybe I'll talk about gameplay for once. But besides that, you'll also get some things that maybe are kind of unexplored in the Uncharted community that I feel like is integral to playing the game. So for an example of this would be in Uncharted 2, there was I had a certain play style in which I needed to get somewhere quickly whenever possible. You know, I needed to get a certain part of a map really quickly whenever possible. And so late in Uncharted 2's life, I started exploring the mechanics of climbing and jumping and stuff like that. And I found out that there's certain ways you can sort of kind of exploit the game's mechanics to get to places you want to faster. And, you know, there are certain obvious shortcuts in maps, but there's also really, like, smaller, subtle ones that you wouldn't think of doing. And, you know, initially I was going to make shortcut videos in Uncharted 2 for every map, but that wound up not panning out because, well, I didn't have a capture device at the time, and, you know, the community didn't seem too interested in it at the time, and the community wasn't as, there wasn't really a distinct competitive community for it. Like, I mean, there may have been on game battles, but I never really, you know, paid attention to that. So, ultimately, that never panned out, and so I want to do it this time for Uncharted 3. Now, the Uncharted 3 maps themselves, let me just say right now, there aren't very many shortcuts on them, but there's some small ones. And then the Uncharted 2 maps have kept a lot of their shortcuts from Uncharted 2, but because the mechanics in Uncharted 3 are different from Uncharted 2's, like jumping mechanics and climbing mechanics, some of them required, like, really strange timing, and really, like, you have to put in sprint, and you have to do there's all these other factors in the game that make the shortcuts work differently. So, as this video is coming to an end, I just want to say that I'm going to provide content like that explores those sort of things that really aren't quite yet stated or jotted down on the forums, that I couldn't possibly jot down. I'd have to do it video form. So anyway, guys, with that said, I will see you in the next video, whatever that may be. Hopefully it'll be a commentary. See ya.